1989, 1990, my friend and I were standing outside the elevator in a famous hotel on Canal Street, and the elevator opened. Out walks Tupac and Shock G. Hey neighbors, have I ever told you about the time I met Tupac? Not the Tupac y'all know, the voice of a generation, but the humble, hungry, almost unknown Tupac. Before Tupac Shakur ever became Pac, before the tattoos, the controversy, and before the world even called him a legend, he was just out here trying to find himself, like the rest of us. But for him, he was trying to find his place in hip-hop. Now that's the Tupac I met. And what's interesting, when I look at the hip-hop of today, the resurgence of regional sounds, and that rap battle of 2024, arguably the culture versus commerce, I can't help but wonder what the then Tupac would think about the hip-hop of today. And today I want to cover three things. How I met Tupac before the world knew his name, how his lived experience informed and helped him become the voice of a people, and whether the hip-hop of today still carries a purpose that the then Tupac, the artist, fought for. Because clearly I think the famous Tupac understood the one thing that we're trying to protect, and it's self-identity. Before we take this big deep dive into it, y'all hit that like and subscribe. Now y'all know Dr. P is always gonna keep it hip hop. So before we can talk about Tupac the legend, we have to talk about Tupac the person. It was somewhere around 1989 or 90 when Tupac was a mere backup for Digital Underground. Digital Underground had a big song, Humpity Hump, and Tupac was touring with them in New Orleans. In his humble years, he was hungry yet humble, multi-talented, cute, but mostly unknown, and a non-factor at the time. After that, he had a short, and I mean short verse on Same Song, all around the world, the same song. Y'all already know what it is. Anyway, my friend and I were semi-groupies. I don't know if we called them groupies in those days. And we would drive from Mississippi to New Orleans and hit all the clubs every night, hitting them all before 10 so we could get that free stamp. Most of the time we ended up meeting new groups of people, occasionally celebrities, partying to the middle of the night, eventually our cars finding their own way home. We never seen a weekend we didn't like or a club we didn't want to visit. You see, the truth is neither one of us drank or smoked. Our high was hip-hop music and being the it girl in every environment that we walked in. We had a 1-2 punch that never missed. We were standing in front of the elevator in a famous hotel in New Orleans, just standing there waiting because somebody told us Shock G and Digital Underground was at this hotel. There was a crowd standing around and the elevator door opens. Out walks Tupac and Shock G. Out comes the whole crew and they walk right past us. That was unusual for me and my friend. But then there was a sudden tap on my shoulder, and one of Shock G's crew members said in my ear, "Hey, y'all want to come?" And I said, "Can my friend come?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Say less." The rest is history. And the truth is, we may have linked up in a hotel room after. Me linking up with Tupac was happenstance, and he probably never called me again. But that's what I remember remembering. Needless to say, even if Tupac was alive or even Shock G, neither of them would probably even remember meeting us because they were rising stars with the sky as the limit, and the energy around them was crazy. And the beautiful part about this meeting was Tupac was not even well known then. And you see, that's exactly what makes this story important. Follow me on this. I got a point to make. The Tupac we forgot. Because sometimes we only remember people when they become legends. We attach ourselves to the celebrity of it all, and we forget the struggle before the success. And we hardly remember the life that informed Tupac's behavior, his poetry, and his purpose. And what made Pac different was he was willing to put his real life experiences and the experiences of people around him in the music. And songs like Brenda Had a Baby and Dear Mama weren't just songs. Brenda Had a Baby was a song about a woman whose struggles many people ignored. And Dear Mama wasn't just a tribute to his mama. That was Pac showing love, struggle, forgiveness, and gratitude, what many of us in the Black communities were feeling at that time. He was actually taking our lived experiences and putting them into the music. That's what hip-hop always does. And because of Pac's lived experience, his mother's participation in activism, Tupac understood at a deeper level exactly what hip-hop was created for. Neighbors, what y'all know about standing outside on a sunny day with an umbrella? If you're from the South, you already know what this is about. I guarantee you, if you're from some other part of the world, you have no idea what this means. It means the heat index is up and it's hot. But I wonder, anything you've heard about the South, did you hear about it in a song? So you see, that's what hip-hop does for us. Not to make everybody uncomfortable, it was made to tell the stories that other people ignored. It doesn't make Tupac perfect, but it does mean his purpose was way bigger than just entertainment. So you ask, Dr. P, you're an ageless hip-hop fan, around the way girl, hip-hop, rap, and R&B sophisticate. What do you think Tupac would say if he walked back into hip-hop today? I think Tupac would understand the argument that our architects are having today, that our culture matters. It matters enough to protect from co-opting, commerce, and theft. And maybe that's why the moments that hip-hop is experiencing now, since this culture shift, has connected with so many people. It was never just about a song. It was about who gets to define this culture. So the truth of the matter is, no one knows what Tupac would say if he stepped back into the genre today. What do you think he might say? What do you think he might think of this culture shift? Drop me a comment and let me know. Because the man I met that day in that hotel lobby was never chasing fame. He was always chasing purpose. And maybe that's the lesson that this culture shift is teaching all of us, is that this culture has never belonged to the people who make the most noise. It's always belonged to the people who protected the right for the people to make the most noise and to tell the stories of the people who would have otherwise been ignored, which is why all of us should be fighting for hip-hop with every breath in our body and with every single thing we got. Now y'all hit that like button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and thanks for stopping back by my house.